Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
The squeeze plays on. The bunt is down. Play is at the plate. Safe. Royals win it on a squeeze bunt.
As soon as it's first and third, thinking through where we are in the order, how difficult it is to get a ball off the ground against Lopez.
That was good baseball. Great at bat by Duffy, hitting it to right and getting me out of third, and Freddie doing a job. That was clutch. That's how we win. That's how good teams win. You find ways, and hard hit balls get caught sometimes. So you gotta cheat the system.
Yeah, they're a good football team. Great organization. As you know, I'm close with a lot of the people there, and so they've got a heck of an organization. Great city and good players. So.
Look at how their season ended last year, finishing 8-2. Look at how Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, had the defense balling at the end of last year. And how they had some young superstars emerge. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson's going to be a household name. Yeah.
It's on us to go and take the game. They're not going to give it to us. They're going to come out and play aggressive. They have great leaders over there and incredible winners. Their coach is a champion.
Brown right to the rack. Kick out to Casey. Got it again! 8-point lead for Denver, 34-26.
2 minutes remaining. Smart hits a flaring Tatum. Shoots for three. Oh! 3 straight makes from downtown. Boston leads 92-84 with 1:50 to play.
Now Cole Kaniemi, top of the right circle. His shot! They score! Jesper Fast ends it! Carolina going to the conference finals! The Canes win it 3-2 in overtime!
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Hey, it's Friday. The Friday Sports Day. A week from today will be the final Sports Day show of the season before, we go on summer sabbatical.
Don't remind me. I can get some sleep?
Just 2 more weeks. And then Hesh will take over for the next month.
Thank you very much, Steve. I hope you enjoy your time in Italy.
Hey, don't discredit. It's the Mediterranean as a whole, isn't it? It's not just Italy.
Yeah, we're on a Viking ship,
Oh, you watch too much TV.
Well, fortunately, Aaron's stepping up to do sports for me in the mornings. That helps him.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, so on the show today, on this Friday, Connor Nichols going to join us. And we got regional baseball and softball, but we're going to talk about a proposal that was put forward by the Kansas Baseball Coaches Association that would increase or could increase the number of regular season games to 26. You'd have the option of going up to 26 softball or baseball games, but it was defeated by the executive board in a vote of 33-32. So we'll continue with this, which 10 days, 20 games, that ain't enough. Do you think? I mean, with pitching shortages, I don't know. I guess maybe it would be okay, but you would have the option that you could play up to 26 games if you wanted to. Heck, for a lot of these kids, it's the only chance they get to play baseball anymore because in the summertime, you got to go to football camp, and then you got to go to basketball camp, and then you got to lift weights.
Spring always seems super loaded, but perhaps when you're only playing one sport or involved with one sport, it does seem there's some downtime in there. But 20 is nice and round because basketball plays 20, and as sports reporter, I know 2020.
Okay.
No.
Also, we're going to, speaking of high school baseball, you're going to talk with Randy Beck, head coach of the Panthers, and also on the program today, we're going to talk some track and field coming up here in the next segment. Mike Corson's top performances from around the area and across the state as we get ready for regional track next week. And also we'll get into the Western Athletic Conference meet held in Great Bend yesterday that the Lady Panthers ended up winning the meet. So we'll get to that here coming up on the program today. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. Denny Matthews with the call. I always like Denny's gets more excited because that was in the bottom of the ninth, right? And he's sitting there wondering, oh, gosh, if they don't get this thing could go to 10, and then it could be 11, and then, this could go to 13 or 14 innings.
But does he do extra innings?
Well, he doesn't go home.
Well,
Yes,
are you sure? He may stay there, but I mean, he's got.
You've been doing it for 52 years. You can do it whatever.
I understand that. I have all the.
Yeah, I know.
He's dedicated to the craft. Of course, he stays there.
It's
in his pajamas.
Oh, just moccasins. Come on, man. He's a Hall
Okay,
of
that's
Famer.
what I forget.
Freddie Fermin walking off the the White Sox yesterday with a bunt in the bottom of the ninth. The Royals beat the White Sox 4-3. Matt Quatrero says that bunt was on his mind as soon as the inning began, and then we get to first and third. That's what they were going to do. Ronaldo Lopez, former Iuka Hustler, and his nickname in Iuka was Gas Can. So he's not with the Hustlers anymore, and that's one of the reasons why. Royals ended up winning that game 4-3. White Sox rallied to tie the game in the eighth. Nick Prado, who got a walk-off Lopez to start the inning, and then just a red-hot, line drive hit as hard as you'd ever want to see Matt Duffy. Lobbed one into right field. First and third, game-winning bunt. So after 10 straight at home, the Royals head out on a 9-game trip that begins tonight in Milwaukee against the Brewers.
It's a new meaning of small ball in Kansas City. Fermin's he's a little guy.
He's not very tall at all.
But I told you he's a gamer. I like.
Yeah,
that's a catcher laying down a bunt to win the game.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the first player. I'm Bobby Witt Jr. to come over there and, let's see, strain an oblique, picking up the cooler so they can pour water on their celebration of their.
MJ Melendez and Salva yesterday doing that. So yeah,
I saw a stat. Bobby Witt's number's still not spectacular, but he's over 300 in May. So we expected him to perform well. Came out super cold, but
top of the order is.
Prado's looking great.
They'd scored a run in the first inning of 5 straight games. Didn't get it done yesterday. He did have a chance in the first inning. So, hey, they'll head to Milwaukee tonight to start. Then they play the Padres, and then it's back to Chicago.
So are we taking guesses on this away stretch record like we did on the
Did we write down the homestand records?
Oh, by the way, I did pick 5-5, and that's what they ended. So.
Well, where's that at?
There's no record.
No place was it written down.
I thought I heard 4-6, but
that was mine, 4-6. So
we were all close. I think I may have won 6-4 then.
Really?
We were all around this, but I don't know.
Mike, what'd you do?
I was an optimistic 8-2, but
yeah.
That's all right though. They are playing better, and they remain 9.5 games out of first place in the dreadful American League Central.
If
they're still in it.
Tell the child he's naughty over and over, he will end up being naughty. I'm trying to tell him they're good.
Andy Reid talking about the Chiefs with a rematch of the Philadelphia Eagles in Monday Night Football on Week 11. How about the NFL? They just hijack everything. They come out there, the NHL NBA playoffs are going on right now, and they throw out over a 2-day period, they leak out what the schedule's going to be, and it just takes over.
And it's fun because they leak it out is perfectly right because they kind of let it trickle out the international games and then some of the prime time games yesterday, and then now the whole schedule opened the floodgates.
But we have editorial decisions on this program. You may or may not talk about something just because somebody says it's big news. Why can't some of the big outlets be like, you know what? We're not going to talk about that. It's a casual mention. We're not going to. And next up, the segment.
It generates interest. Unfortunately enough, people eat it up.
But that's the cart leading the horse a little bit.
Are you saying there's editorial decisions made on this show?
Every show.
You're darn right there is. That's why we haven't had football on here. And I know you guys have all this international soccer information to pass along. But
shout out to Erling Haaland.
I bring in my UFC fighters every week.
Louis Riddick talking about he's saying the Lions deserve the spotlight. The Lions are in the opening game of the season. The Chiefs play on Thursday night against Detroit.
I think
they deserve that honor. They went 8-2 down the stretch.
Yeah, it's a very, very fun matchup. Should at least be exciting to potentially see the Chiefs whoop up on what was.
I don't remember the Lions ever playing in Kansas City. I'm sure they have, but anyway, we'll see.
Would have been fun when Barry Sanders was there.
I haven't watched the Lions since number 20 was back there.
Well, number 20, if he'd have played the Chiefs when he was playing, he probably got 400 yards in the game. So I don't know. Draymond Green saying the Lakers aren't going to give it to us. Game 6 in L.A. as the Golden State Warriors trying to stay alive. NBA playoffs last night, the Nuggets On to the Western Conference Finals. A call on Altitude Radio with the Nail Man. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope knocking down a 3 in the first half of the Nuggets' 125-100 rout of the Suns in Game 6. Hesh explained the Nail Man.
Don't be bad-mouthing the cause. Okay, the nail is a term I had never heard before until I listened to Jason Kalaski, I think is how you pronounce it. The nail is in the middle of the floor, and he always said, they're at the nail. I'm going, what is the nail? It is right between the middle of the free throw line.
It's where you line up your foot.
Exactly.
Yeah, you get to the step up to the free throw line, and in the dead center there's a nail. That's where you're supposed to line up your.
Had you ever heard that phrase before?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hadn't.
As someone, I played basketball my sophomore year. Me and Coach Wells spent a lot of time trying to fix a broken free throw shot. He can tell you stories about my first free throw going over the backboard, but we worked it down, you know.
Okay, but the nail, that's what.
Yep,
and
the
that's what
nail.
I learned that from the cause.
Yeah, because listen, Houston game last year, Andy Johnson gets the ball at the nail. It's the nail that goes down in the middle of the court, and the shot is good. It was a nice call.
Thank you.
I liked it. Let's see. So, the Nuggets.
Yes.
Yeah, they've never reached the NBA Finals.
Back on the Golden State one, there's allegedly a bettor out there who had a series of bets. I forget the word. So if
Parlay?
Parlay. If Golden State made the finals, I think he was going to make $300,000 off of $300. So the casino tried to buy out his ticket for $30K when it was even, and he said, "Nope, I'm holding on." And now they're a game away from elimination.
Okay. The call last night on KVGB, Jason Tatum knocking down a clutch fourth quarter 3. Celtics went over Philadelphia on the road, 95-86. Game 7 Sunday in Boston. See, that's why you're supposed to, if you miss, you keep shooting them. He started off 0 for 6 and hit 2 big ones there down the stretch. And our hockey call today, the call on 99.9 The Fan. Jesper Fast scoring the winning goal in overtime. Hurricanes beat the Devils 3-2. They win that series 4-1. So there you go. Sounds of the past 24 hours or so. On to today's sports headlines. Barton Cougars are on into the Region 6 Central Plains 18 tournament next week in Wichita. They got down 2-0 and then came back, scored 11 straight runs. Barton sweeps a 2-game series. They beat Labette 11-4. Barton now 1 win away from 50. That'd be the first time that they'd ever done that. In fact, their 49-8 record is the best in Barton baseball history. They will play in the 8-team double elimination tournament on Wednesday at X Stadium. They'll play at 4 o'clock against either Dodge City or KCK. Dodge City beating KCK yesterday on the road 10-5. That series is tied at 1-1. You think maybe these series are just easy 2-0, rollovers. Team playing at home is going to win. Not exactly the case. There are 4 game 3s today. Coffeyville beat Cloud County 1-0, so they're playing in Concordia today. Cowley got beat by Pratt 10-9. That series tied at 1. And Butler beating Allen County 4-2 in El Dorado. So that series tied at 1-1 after Allen County had stole the first one. How about Seward County beating Neosho yesterday 21-18?
Tire them out.
And that's what I was going to bring up. It may only be one game, but Barton is going to be a little more rested than either of the teams they're playing in the next round.
And it's a funny season, though. When they started playing, how cold was it versus, and I'm sure they're baseball kids, they're athletes, but turf, hot. Maybe those long games and multiple games will add up.
Those games will be at Wichita State University. We'll hit the WAC coming up here in just a moment. Some quick highlights from yesterday's Western Athletic Conference meet. And you said big raindrops came.
Just twice. It started at, I think, 3 o'clock, and within the first hour maybe, just 2 little bursts of rain, just enough to mess up some of the throws. Saw a shot putter put one off the cement, and never seen a shot put bounce like that. Same kid, he's one of the top discus throwers in the state from Hayes. I hear, heads up! So he can throw the discus like 166. This thing comes screaming sideways, sticks into the ground. Luckily, there was nobody around that one.
If that had hit your neck, it wouldn't have done that, though.
Be a much different tone on Sports Day today.
Maybe we should try that. But I would say for Great Bend, we knew the girls were probably going to be heavy favorites, but the most exciting race to me was the boys 1600. Caden Esfeld broke that school record by himself because the Garden City kid was running up at KU, and they've gone back and forth over the years, so they got to go head-to-head. Worked out like it should have on paper. Caden was barely ahead, about 200 meters left, and Garden City pulled it out by 4 seconds. Said to me, I think I'm just a little bit more used to running in the wind. Garden City's like the windiest city ever. Cool kid, Devin Chappell.
And Caden won the 800, though, right?
So that Caden won the 800 and then had to turn around pretty quick and run the 32, and Garden City put 10 kids under 10 minutes. So Caden got fourth in that one. He's capable of going under 10 minutes, but just not yesterday.
Okay. And you got an email. I got a text earlier that said Chris Steiner had been fired at Central Plains, but...
Yeah, I don't know the status.
Something's
in the works.
Yeah, something's in the work. I looked at the agenda for the USD 112 school board meeting Monday, and there's only like 3 things on there. And
it's a special
executive
meeting.
session, yeah.
And theirs tend to be pretty brief, whereas USD 428 really spells things out. But yeah, so the comment I saw, special meeting, and it was about non-renewing some of the football contracts, including head coach Steiner, for what? Cursing and bad language, unprofessionalism.
Another exciting meeting coming up on Monday then.
Yeah,
but the agenda has it, okay, call to order, approve agenda, executive session, non-elected personnel, certified staff, supplementals, administration, adjourn. 6 o'clock. Lane Bieberly had something on his Facebook page saying that
I think several
there's a lot of things out there, so they wanted you to contact your board member. Not that they haven't been contacted a lot here recently, but...
Well, and being the coverage guy in the area for all this time, I was around when Central Plains was born into existence. I think Chris had some lean years in there, but some really great years, really put Central Plains on the map. I didn't think I would be an 8-man football fan. Chris Steiner helped me become an 8-man football fan.
And he was part of the Central Plains. They've had the quality lady basketball team for so long, but he kind of helped make it a more well-rounded sports program over in Central Plains. Like,
when you talk about your Andale, why is Andale so good? Strength and conditioning. They have the state powerlifting championships over there, probably because of Chris Steiner. How many kids got scholarships because of Chris Steiner? Small town, I mean, you can make an impact at a big town, but what he has done for a small town, I think they've been fortunate. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Man, oh, yeah. I mean, and he coaches hard. But you hear when he's coaching, maybe his voice raises a little bit, but have you ever been around coaches that they just yell, but they don't tell you how to fix what they're yelling at you about?
And then it always comes back to
you're still
me.
a teacher, man. That's
if you just scream in somebody's face, yeah, are you teaching? But when the kids come out and say, hey, this guy taught me all these things, and how many football teams are there in the state of Kansas? Give me 5 coaches who don't swear. We've got one of the worst that is up at 5A at one of the top programs in the state. I mean, he's kicked news reporters out of his locker room. Chris has always been one of the best coaches to deal with.
No, I don't know if it's practice. I mean, during the games, I haven't heard that. I've heard him yell at kids. I've heard him yell at particular referees before, especially when you go over the sideline and tell him, and you tell him that, that his player got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and what'd he do? He growled. Simulating a snap count. He's going, rawr, rawr, rawr.
If you're going to do that, you got to disguise it as a cough.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Anyway, that school board meeting Monday night, 6 o'clock, district office. Okay. Anything else? You had something on?
Yeah, there's some talk going around that Patrick Mahomes is going to get his contract renegotiated. We've seen a couple QBs get new deals since he signed that long $450 million 10-year deal. And when he signed that, the deal is actually designed to be renegotiated several times. but the talk is that he will reclaim his status as the highest paid player in league history on a year-per-year basis.
Oh, so he's getting more.
It's hard to say because it's still the $450 million, but they're moving it around.
Right.
The way his contract is designed is a very unique structure in the NFL. It has a certain rigidness to it where he is definitely the backbone of their franchise, but it allows them some flexibility to have some wiggle room in a moving cap around for instances like this where suddenly he's on a bit of a value deal almost, still getting paid a ridiculous amount, but will be jumped back up because right now he's not even in the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the league, and he's in the top 2 most talented and probably not number 2. You know, like,
who's with him?
I could put Josh Allen up there. I feel like
that's fair enough. So, but he's an unselfish player. Even he's making all this money. He's like Hesh. When we brought Hesh on here, and there was a lot of work. The contract that he got, kind of scarred some people a little bit. So are you what's he? But then Hesh is, and he's renegotiated his,
and
so the rest of us can get a little bit.
Day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've got a little bit of extra cash out of him, and we appreciate that, Hesh.
You're welcome.
You're a team player.
I've never been compared to Patrick Mahomes in anything.
Well, except in a mirror, of course.
Okay, coming up on Sports Day, we're going to talk more track and field, some of the top area performances with Mike Corson. Connor Nichols on the program, and Randy Beck, all rolling along here on a Friday Sports Day show on KVGB.
The time is now. Get up to $729 off devices like the Samsung Galaxy S23 or the iPhone 14 Pro. Bring your number to us, and you can also get a $100 Visa gift card. Only at Next Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
Barton Community College enrollment days are back. Registration is now available for all sessions through July 26th. Make the enrollment process fun, fast, and simple. Reserve your spot to get everything set up for the fall semester in just one day. Visit with an academic and financial advisor, enroll in classes, take a tour of campus, and more. Visit enroll.bartonccc.edu to sign up.
Central Kansas Catbackers, this is Wyatt Thompson. The Cats will be in Great Bend Wednesday, May 17th from 11:30 a.m. to 1 at the Fieldhouse at 2817 9th Street. Join National Coach of the Year Jerome Tang, football's Colin Klein, Alumni Association President Amy Button-Renz, student athletes, the K-State cheer team, and Willie the Wildcat. This free event is open to all K-State fans. For information, call Cody at 785-691-6933. See you May 17th at the Fieldhouse in Great Bend. Go Cats!
The Wall That Heals, a program of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, is coming to Al Burns Field in Great Bend, May 11th through May 14th. Hi, this is Tim Nolette, Service Director with Marmy Ford and Marmy Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. The Wall That Heals exhibit includes a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, along with a mobile education center. This exhibit will be open 24 hours with free admission. Join Marmy Ford and Marmy Motors in celebrating this wonderful tribute to our Vietnam heroes. May 11th through May 14th, Veterans Memorial Park, Great Bend.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. This is like Christmas time for Mike Corson. He is a very avid track and field person. You can see his work on GreatBendPost.com. You can see it on Catch It Kansas. He follows state track closer than anyone except for maybe Lyles Lashley.
And Swinson.
Okay, what?
Swinson's
Carol,
track daddy.
Yeah, right, okay.
Track junior. So the Shawnee Mission, when Great Bend was in Salina last week, Shawnee Mission relays were going on a little bit further out east. 2 all-time state records went in that one. So the 4x8 is always a big deal for Great Bend and Lashley's team, so always kind of keep an eye on that one. So Olathe West set the record at 9:17. This is girls. So the girls set this all-time state record at 9:17 last year. What do you think they ran last Friday?
9:09.
9:03. So like Lashley said, that's basically a 2:16 split. And it's hard-pressed to find a classification with more than 2 girls that run an open 8 at 2:16. So the kicker there is Olathe West. I mean, they're of no interest of us being 6A, but 3 girls in the 800, all under 2:16, one of them under 2:12. And then in the mile, they have 4 of the top 6 milers in Class 6A. So you talk about putting all those girls on one relay, that is fantastic. The 5A leader, which would, I think, been the state leader before, is St. James at 9:37, so a 9:03 is just hopping. So same meets, Shawnee Mission North relays. Bryce Barkdole, a junior from Andover Central, breaks the all-time record in the pole vault. Any guesses?
The all-time record, man, that's is it over 17?
It is. So I will give you this. Prior to this year, nobody in 12 years had gone over 17.1, and he was at like 17.3 heading into the relays.
17.8 and a quarter.
He had to get the quarter. It was a 43-year-old record, 17.6 and a quarter.
Darn.
So just for comparison, because we have a really good pole vaulter next door in Hoisington, Josiah Ball is tied at number 8 all class at 14.6. And he's a heavy favorite to win Class 3A.
One of my favorite field events is the pole vault.
It is just so different.
And it's one of those ones that the points aren't automatic. You get your step off. You get and
we've seen some of our big area pole vaulters who went in as state leaders not even place at state, or not crazy, like no height. Which
yeah,
is the
exactly.
worst.
It's one of those danger events, like the hurdles. I mean, you can't count points. It's not like the sprints a lot. I mean, you hit a couple hurdles.
We saw some good tumbles yesterday. Hadn't seen too many tumbles this year, but I think 3 of the 4 races had tumbles yesterday.
Are you kind of like an NASCAR guy with that? You want to see the wrecks happen? Is that kind of the deal?
I like it when they get up and finish, and then you can tell them, hey, way to finish. I will say, so you talk about injuries at track. Obviously, the javelin is a key one. So I'm taking pictures of the girls' javelin throwers, temporarily lose sight of the javelin. Uh-oh. And then I hear it bounce about 3 feet behind me. Nobody said heads up. So then, same thrower from...
Were they throwing at you?
Perhaps. They got to do it more of a line drive. I'm fast. So a couple throws later, Kendall Blessing has thrown her, so she's going to retrieve her javelin, and then the same girl's throws it out of bounds again, so I'm screaming at Kendall, heads up, heads up! And so she starts to beeline further out of bounds, and I thought she was going to run right into it. So almost some excitement before the track meet really got started yesterday. Back into the top performers this week. All week we've been saying Hutchinson is the best hurdler in the state, so Great Bend's losing to the best hurdler in the state. Not so fast. Northwest Junior Adriana Shelby, that's Wichita. She's the state champ in the 6A 300s and the runner-up in the 100s. So last week she posted better times in both hurdle events than Annalisa Collins of Hutch, and actually bumped Collins out of the number 7 all-time spot in the 100s. Going into yesterday's, just to focus on some Great Bend stuff, it's up on Great Bend Post, but Addie Nicholson's been shining in the distance events. She swept those. Barely missed. I think they were shooting for a 5:20 in the mile yesterday. Runs a 5:26.
Wow.
So she's still the number 2 seed in both of those events at regionals behind the Roop girl from Salina Central. Big kicker here for it. The relays have been so strong for Great Bend. It's going to be curious what the mastermind comes up with. Over the last few weeks, we've seen Mackenzie Premer jump into that 4x8. Addie Nicholson, I don't think, has ran the 4x8 yet, so they're winning races. I think they're number 8, number 10 in 5A, but what's he going to throw at regionals? And the same can be said with the 4x4. Yesterday, they cut 2 seconds off their time with the new lineup. So kind of curious to see.
Again, where's that schedule at as far as when hurdles are, and especially the 300s?
Because Premer really is your wild card. She's known for her 100 and 300 hurdles, but they get to run 4 events, so she's a legitimate 4x8 kid now, and she's on the state champion 4x4 team, and she was on the 3rd place 4x1 team, so that's 5 events. Which, can you replace her somewhere, or how do you strategically figure out where you're going to lose the least with putting her somewhere else? So we had the WAC championships in Great Bend yesterday, also the Central Kansas League championships. So that's Hoisington Larned was over in Lyons yesterday. Hoisington sophomore Camden Tarleton wins the mile, 10:36, wins that one by 9 seconds. Josiah Ball, we mentioned him. Swept the hurdle events, really one of the top hurdlers in Class 3A and almost in the state. And then he won the pole vault by whopping 3 feet at 14.0. And finally for me, Kara Herberts, we like to see the freshman coming up. Always fun to see that. Hurdler from Larned. She wins almost by a full second in 15.77. And that's against Hoisington studs Kylie Hahn and Shella Mae Farmer. So that wasn't a slight field that she beat as a freshman.
State regionals next week. Great Bend goes to May South. That's on a Thursday.
Got that on a Thursday, and I've been preaching the big kicker is I think St. James, Capon, and Great Bend are going to be your top 3 teams. They all go to 3 different regionals, so there's not going to be any knockout in terms of that. So get a little bit better picture of what the state rosters are going to look like next week.
Okay, state track meet is just all 1A. It's not 1A, 1, and 2, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, big old Class 1A.
Yeah, that's the funnest one. Mike Tilson from Norwich, back in the day, won the 100, the 200, and the 400. Norwich won the state track meet title in Class 1A with 30 points.
The Norwich girls a couple years ago had a really good thrower. I think she won 2 golds and a really good hurdler sprinter. So with 3 girls, they dominated 1A.
Yeah. It's a lower scoring.
Well, I'm talking Capon, I mean, we've talked about it, but they've got the repeat 100 and 200 champion who's now, I think, one of the state leaders in the 400. Plus, they got another girl who came in the short sprints. They could pick up like 38 points in 3 events. And when you're talking 50, 60 points at track, that's...
Mike Corson doing it track and field. We'll talk with Connor Nickel coming up next on Sports Day.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
I had a young gal come in the other day who has been having chronic back pain. Did a session just helping her to understand her pain, not understanding her back, but teaching her how her nervous system works. And just that knowledge just calmed her down so much. She came back in this morning, huge smile on her face, and she was so excited to learn more. It was a blast.
Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
To be the king of the road, you have to fill with the king of diesels. We're talking about Cenex Premium Diesel. It comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn. Cenex Roadmaster XL even cleans up and prevents injector fouling to keep your trucks out of the shop and on the road. And typical number 2 diesel? That's always an option. The wrong option. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
The Wall That Heals, a program of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, is coming to Al Burns Field in Great Bend, May 11th through May 14th. Hi, this is Tim Nolette, Service Director with Marmy Ford and Marmy Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. The Wall That Heals exhibit includes a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, along with a mobile education center. This exhibit will be open 24 hours with free admission. Join Marmy Ford and Marmy Motors in celebrating this wonderful tribute to our Vietnam heroes. May 11th through May 14th, Veterans Memorial Park, Great Bend.
When it's time to replace your old windows and doors, call your local Pella certified contractor, Empire Improvements. With a full line of Pella windows and door options, including affordable vinyl, durable fiberglass, and luxurious wood, Empire Improvements has an option for any taste or budget. No matter what Pella window or door you choose, you'll know it was installed right by a Pella trained and certified contractor. For the best warranty in the business, call Empire Improvements in Great Bend today at 620-603-0872. It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on a Friday. It's my favorite day of the week. Not only be the weekends here, but because we get to talk with Connor Nickel. Brings everything to the program. Connor does great work for, let's see, Sports in Kansas. He's a big tweeter. You got to follow him. And welcome to the show. Welcome back again, Connor. Great to have you here.
Yeah, certainly, Steve-O. It's really a very exciting time. The weather is nice. It's been a good week, and here we are.
Okay, we have plenty of regional baseball and softball to talk about, but this is a big deal. I've said for years, it's just, I haven't been high school baseball and softball, it's cool, except the fact you get 10 dates and basically 20 games. So we see teams going into regional action, with records like, 9-11, 10-10. It seems like I don't know. You got to play more games, and a proposal put forward by the Kansas Baseball Coaches Association to increase the number of games for baseball and softball came up one vote short. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so this has been a story that's been percolating for quite some time. It was started by a coach named Rick Sabbath, who many people might know. Trent Mahler, a Great Bend product, played for him, as did many others, especially from Barton County. Coach Sabbath coached at Fort Hays for about 6-7 years, also was at Garden City JUCO. He has been in the KC area now for probably 8-9 years, and he is the Olathe West coach. And basically what they did was they took a survey of all the states that border Kansas, and they found that Kansas by far plays the fewest baseball games of those states. Of course, Kansas, you play your 21 games. If you make a state championship game, you will play 25 or 26. And especially with the urban areas, we've seen some people switch states or just, really complain a lot because they're getting far, far fewer games than other states. Missouri, my best friend who I grew up with has been a high school baseball coach in Missouri for 13 years, and they're a 500 team this year. But entering their playoffs, they would have played 34 games. And he goes, I think they're 17-17, and he goes, we play every Tuesday, Thursday, and then either Friday or Saturday. And he goes, that's great. He goes, baseball is meant to be played a lot, and a lot of coaches in Kansas feel the same way. However, there are a lot of administrators, particularly in the Wichita area, who do not feel this way, and they do not want to extend the season. A couple of reasons given. Again, Taylor Eldridge, who is a great reporter in Kansas, wrote a big piece on this. I want to use some of his quotes and definitely give him credit. But he had said, some of the coaches said, we don't want to extend the season because of pitching. We don't want to extend the season because it creates a slippery slope for other sports because they want to maybe extend their seasons. And the whole proposal, which I completely agree with, was not extending the season by calendar dates. It was that teams had an option, very similar to what volleyball currently does, to play up to 26 regular season games. You could still play your 20 if you wanted to, but you could play up to 26. So volleyball and wrestling currently have these scheduled dates. So volleyball, they're called points. So volleyball, you could choose to play in like 10 tournaments, 9 tournaments, or you could choose to play in 5 tournaments or 3 duels or, 2 tries and things like that. That's why in volleyball you see teams play 40 matches a year and teams play roughly 30. Well, baseball, they were basically going to do the same thing. But this got voted down by 1 vote. So again, the high school baseball season and softball will be capped at 20 games, and of course, and then 1 postseason game, which I think is way, way too short.
The thing, and what we've seen is with the increased commitments in the summer for other sports, I mean, kids that play everything, I mean, they've got camp, they've got football camp, they've got baseball camp, they probably got a track and field camp maybe not if they're in baseball, and summer baseball is just, unless you're going to play on a showcase team, Legion baseball is just almost dead. Summer baseball this is the only chance for kids to really play on their hometown team. And, man, just 20 games, it just seems like, I don't know, waste of time sometimes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you're not only, and the Bishop Carroll coach said this in the story too, he goes, Carroll's 19-1 this year. And they're always very, very good. They've played just 10 opponents this season. They've had, out of their 19 wins, I think 11 or by blowout. And Charlie Ebright said, their number 4 pitcher has thrown like 7 innings the entire year. And that's been really, really tough. You've seen some teams, Hayes High is one of them. I want to give credit to Coach Beck at Great Bend, too, that have tried to play different opponents. Hayes High went to the Kansas City area tournament last year, and I think they only won 1 game. But they went out there, they played single games, they played different opponents, they did some of those things. You saw Great Bend this year play a triangular very, very competitively against McPherson and Rose Hill, both great teams. They won both of those. Then they played another try roughly 10 or so days ago. Obviously, Hayes High has had their Diamond Classic tournament where you play 4 games in 3 days, generally against opponents you don't see during the year. The Kansas City area does this all the time, where they play the single games. They try to get like a marquee game like at K-State or KU or something like that. And the WAC and softball has started doing this a bit more. And I talked to I talked to Garden City's coach last year, and Coach Trina said, we really like playing these single games. The girls get up really big for 1 game, knowing, we're going to put everything into 1 game. We pitch our base, the opponent does, and it's a really great game. And Hayes High and Garden City and WAC softball did that this year. Hayes High won a great game, and that game basically, as the season has gone on, decided the WAC title. So I really, really wish, and just a quick thought here, Hayes High and Great Bend baseball, it's a huge doubleheader every single year. Why is it a doubleheader? It should not be. These 2 teams should play, a game on a Tuesday, come back in basketball and play 3 weeks later on another Tuesday, and try to make these high-profile games. I know Ellis and TMP, which are 12 miles apart, played a doubleheader. Why? Play single games. Split things up. Drive Suburbans and not buses. For basketball, you get 21 dates, obviously single games in basketball. But for baseball, there's just so much resistance to doing that, and it boggles my mind on why teams do this. I just don't understand it. I truly don't.
Yeah, the thing that it doesn't make sense, for softball, sometimes I still remember Great Bend 2 or 3 years ago drove all the way down to Liberal to play a single game, and they played 3 innings. In fact, they went down and rolled Liberal, and then that wasn't worth the effort. I like the part of that you can play up to this many, because with pitch restrictions right now the way they are, which is, I don't know, that's another topic, but you have the option of playing that many games. I like that. And it failed by 1 vote. Wow.
Correct. And again, what I want to stress here is the option. And that's what's existed in volleyball for umpteen years, where you have the option to go up. And wrestling, to a certain extent, does it too. But in baseball was basically going to follow that lead. And again, that was voted down. Where if you're a struggling baseball team, you have 1 or 2 pitchers, you play your 20, fine. But if you've got a loaded bunch, play more games, test your team. And I really feel like that this could be very, very harmful not having this passed.
Yeah, because Great Bend Legion baseball around here, they still have the Legion hanging in there by a thread, but they played 45, 50 games in the summertime. Now you can't do it because you have football, because the restrictions came off on some of those sports, which were a good thing. You had summer camps, but, man, there's just no chance for, love summer baseball, but that's pretty much over with now. Okay, there's a lot of things going on right with baseball and softball, so I wanted to talk about this topic, so we've used up a lot of time. But you had something interesting on Great Bend baseball with Premer.
Yeah, well, actually, Carson.
Humphreys. Okay, Carson Humphreys.
Yeah, Carson. Carson is, of course, Great Bend's sophomore ace. He's had a great season, 4-1, 2.59 ERA. It takes a while because this is not kind of charted somewhere, so you've got to kind of compare a couple lists, and then you got to kind of do a couple things there. But I've got roughly, I would say, a good chunk of the state. Certainly all of the very, very good teams. But Carson currently leads all of Kansas, all classes in innings pitched this season. He has thrown 54 of Great Bend's 153 innings this year. Just to give some other comparables from, I guess, in the area, Colby Shane Puckett, who's going to go play at Garden City, he has thrown 40 innings this year. Cole Linton at Goodland, who's been a tremendous pitcher, has thrown 33. There's been some other pitchers in the 40s. Pratt Skyline's got a really good pitcher. He's a 45 or so. But again, Carson leads Kansas right now, 54 innings pitched. He's been the primary pitcher in 9 of 20 games for Great Bend this year. Of course, Great Bend has played a very challenging slate, has some really quality wins. But yeah, Coach Beck, and I pulled up his game changer, and Coach Beck has pretty much used him like a college ace. I mean, he's pushed him to the full 80, 90. He's cleared 100 pitches 3 times on April 11th, April 27th, and then May 5th. So again, Carson's thrown a bunch, and he's had a really nice season for Great Bend.
Yeah, he's part of the young guns that are coming up at Great Bend High School, and we're going to see the effects of those young classes in many sports as we go on. So as we head into baseball, regionals, softball regionals, some of the top things you're looking at, Connor Nickel.
Yeah, the 3A Goodland baseball regional, something I just spoke of. It's going to be fascinating. You've got Russell, Goodland, Colby, and Scott City. Goodland, Colby, and Scott City have all kind of beaten each other this year. Goodland, their best seasons is 2016. Russell, of course, their huge climb in really all boys sports this year. They are 19-1. Russell has had great pitching. Mason Rohr, Jackson Cross have certainly led that. But again, Goodland, who has pitched it extremely well. We mentioned Cole Linton, a great year. They have a closer, Octavio Hernandez, with multiple saves. And then, again, Colby, which has wins against Goodland and Scott City. Shane Puckett, 4-2 on the mound, sub-2 ERA. He has hit .500. He is a great player. And it's going to be very interesting to see when Colby will use him. I think that I would not be surprised if any of those 4 teams come out. I give Russell a slight edge, but this is going to be really, really close. We've also talked a little bit about the Hoisington softball. Hoisington has played really well down the stretch. They've had multiple girls have really great seasons. They're trying to get back to state. And I think the other one that's really intriguing as well is the 2-1A Ellis softball. TMP has 7 losses this season, but has played an extremely hard schedule. They've lost to Hayes High twice. They've lost to Holcomb, which has a phenomenal pitcher, twice. You've got some other very quality teams. El Saline's in that. But I think TMP, based upon record, I think they are the favorite and will come out. We talked about Larned. Larned, I mentioned last week, as being a dark horse in baseball. They actually drew a rematch with Pratt. Of course, Pratt kind of beat them fairly handily twice earlier this season. And then LR Baseball, the Redskins. What a sports season for them. They are the clear favorite in their 2-1A regional. And I would say that LR and Elkhart Baseball, those are your pretty significant 2-1A baseball favorites.
All right, Connor Nickel, you always bring it strong. Always appreciate it and look forward to the visits, and we'll do it again next Friday.
And certainly, Steve-O. Thanks so much.
Okay, the one and only Connor Nickel. Yeah, just great stuff that he has brought us all season long, and we appreciate him being a regular guest here on Sports Day. More to come here. We're going to talk Great Bend Panther baseball. Mike Horst will be visiting with head coach Randy Beck. That's coming up next
From the
here
Mayo
on
Money
the program.
Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Attention Kansas high schoolers. Barton Community College wants to help you get ahead in your education and save money with new early college online savings. Starting March 20th, pay only $75 per credit hour on any Barton online course. That's a savings of up to $80. All online classes are eligible, including career technical and general education. Learn more at bartonccc.edu/earlycollege.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson, joined today by Panther baseball coach Randy Beck. Took a week off, but we are back this week. But some tough news. Coach, you're 10-4 in a rebuild year. Everything's looking good, and then some tough competition at a bad time of the year.
Yeah. Our bats kind of went a little dormant, but, we faced some pretty good pitching too. So that, kind of sways things as well.
And I was looking, no playoff brackets up just a few minutes ago, but looks like you guys were maybe sitting in the 7-hole, maybe with a matchup against Salina South?
I think we have Hayes. There was 5 of us that were tied at 11 and 9, and so it goes to average runs allowed, and so South got that 6th seed, and we got the 7th.
All right.
Hayes, which is their number 10, and I think we go to Capon. Everything will be official tomorrow.
And if it was Hayes, you guys obviously split with them, and then the one loss was a 1-run game. Like that matchup if you do get that?
I'd rather not play Hayes, and I think they'd rather not play us, but we don't have that. We don't have that chance to say, no, we don't want to play those guys. But, 2 really good games in our doubleheader. We lost first game 4-5 and won second game 5-4. So 2 late inning wins and losses, and we matched up really well with them.
And we'll go into this last game of the regular season at home on Wednesday. Manhattan comes to town. It looked like they were already the number 1 seed locked down in 6A with 1 loss. Thought there may be a chance they were going to do some load management and you wouldn't see their A team?
No, I knew they were coming out. They had us. I mean, he told me they were throwing their number 1, the Horseman kid, and he was pretty darn good. He was probably mid-80s with a really good slider, and we struggled against him game 1, and but he was good. He was really good. I thought we did a pretty good job 2-strike approach against him. I think we struck out 7 times, which obviously is more than what you want. But against a caliber kid like him, I thought we did a fairly good job of putting the ball in play and giving them opportunities to make mistakes and get some base runners and that type of stuff.
We're talking with Panther baseball coach Randy Beck. And so the first one was a 6-0 loss, 3 hits. Second one was 12-0 with 3 hits, but don't know what's worse for a coach. That game was Manhattan scored at least 2 runs in 4 of their 5 innings played. Is that tough to watch from the sideline?
Well, it doesn't tell the whole story, We hit some good balls in that doubleheader. I don't know how many line drives we had to the infielders, and that's a little bit disheartening because I think we could have scored early in game 2, but they had a line drive that got caught, and I think that may have changed things a little bit. Just getting on the board and knowing, giving us confidence that we can get it done.
and I didn't know anything about the Manhattan pitching. I just knew the stats looked good. But Hunter Herman in your game one, it looked to be a pretty good pitching duel then, cruising kind of into that fifth inning and then a walk, a hit batter, and a triple. But other than that, how good was he matching up against that kid?
Hey, he had a really good outing. Hunter did. He threw a lot of strikes. He was in the zone early and often. Kept them off balance with his curveball, and he threw really well against a really good team. I mean, they had 13 seniors, and they had one loss on the season, and I was pretty proud of him. I thought he did a great job.
Well, so 11-9 on the season. The postseason is here, so we're doing the same thing with Barton. They got the big record, so you can either talk about momentum or resetting the records, and everybody's 0-0. But what's that look like as a high school baseball coach coaching kids?
Well, it is a new season. Everybody is 0-0. And, the funny thing about this year, we're pretty familiar with the people that we're playing. We got Hayes game one, which obviously we know them very well. And then we played Capon earlier in the year, which is not always the case. So I think that helps us out a little bit, especially with Capon. That was our first doubleheader of the year. We've improved a lot since then. So, we got to get through Hayes first. And then if we get through Hayes, then, I think we have just as good opportunity as anybody to beat them.
Coach, we wish you luck. Always nice talking to you.
All right,
you need to get rid of the pain.
More Sports Day after this.
You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
The music is bringing it to an end here today. Okay, young man, what do you have here? Chiefs stuff.
Chiefs scheduled their White House visit to visit President Joe Biden on Monday, June 5th to celebrate their victory in Super Bowl 57. A rich tradition continues.
Frank Clark get a go?
Who knows?
I didn't. Okay. Laugh, Hash. I was there for you. Okay.
Like I said, there are several teams that haven't been yet. There have been 2 or 3 years that haven't been to the White House.
Georgia's not making the trip.
Exactly.
But that's what. Don't you go right after the event?
You would think so, yeah.
Anyway.
It's a busy time of year.
It's gotten political like everything else.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, boys. Talk to you Monday on Sports Day.